That's a tough one.
That's a tough one.
Yeah. Um, well, we hear every kind of story.
I can
So,
imagine. I can imagine.
let me ask you, are we already recording or are you
I'm
gonna
gonna
press?
start record. I'm gonna start recording in a few minutes. I'm gonna start recording actually right now.
Okay. Well,
So I'm gonna start recording right now.
wait. Can I ask you one question before you record? Oh, are we recording now? Okay. I just want to know, should I mention the conference or is this it?
Yeah,
Okay.
you should. Yeah, mention the conference.
Okay.
Promote the conference. I'll because I'm gonna edit the video.
Oh, okay, great.
I'll edit the video when we to the point where actually the first question. So I'm gonna start recording now.
Okay.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna start recording. All right. Hi, everybody. My name is Roger Maloney. I'm Associate Director for Alumni Career Services for James Conner University. I'm here with my amazing guest. Her name is Carol Fishman Cohen, the founder of Relaunch, Normalizing Career Breaks. But it's Carol, nice to meet you. Thank you so much for doing this brief interview to talk about your amazing organization.
Roger, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. My first question is, how did you come up with the idea for iRelaunch?
Well, that's a good question. I experienced it myself first. My company, I was working for, I have a finance background. I was working for a company on Wall Street that collapsed while I was on maternity leave with my first child. So I did not have a company to go back to. And I decided not to go looking for the next big job. And I ended up having three more kids and was home with them for 11 years. So this was a really long time ago, between 1990 and 2001, when I went back in 2000. The short answer is that I experienced it myself, found that there were a lot of things I learned along the way. Also, Vivian Steer-Rabin, who has retired from iRelaunch, but was the co-founder of iRelaunch, also took a career break. And we had 9 kids between us, and she took a 7-year career break, and I took an 11-year career break. And so she had this idea to write a book about the process, and which she had coined this term relaunching. And she interviewed me when I was back in my job. I got hired at an investment firm because there were people there who I used to work with a dozen years before who remembered me. That's the only reason I got hired. And so she interviewed me for her book. And then we went our separate ways. And then about a year after that, I was working with some professors. I'm in the Boston area. I was working with some professors at Harvard Business School who were thinking about a concept called a recertification program for people who had degrees who, have taken career breaks and want to get ready to go back to work. And I had written an article about myself that could have been like a lead article in a magazine, but they're the ones who said this could be a book. And so then I thought, I wonder what happened to Vivian. I got back in touch with her and we decided to write the book together. And so we wrote a book called Back on the Career Track. We actually got paid in advance to write the book. There was an auction for it. It came out in 2007. And
Wow.
along the way, when we did the research, we started getting asked by a handful of companies, finance companies, that were the very first companies to start career reentry programs in 2005 to 2006. And they started asking us to present or to run focus groups or to screen candidates. We didn't even have a company.
Oh,
So
wow.
that's when we decided maybe we should start a company because we have all these unsolicited inbound requests that we, weren't even anticipating. And so that's how iRelaunch got started.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. And how do you feel when your story turned into a Harvard and Stanford case study? That must have been amazing.
Yeah. So let's see, in 2003, Harvard Business School approached me. I think there weren't that many examples of people who had taken long career breaks and then went back to a really intense full-time job, which mine was. And so I guess that jumped out at them as an experience that might be relevant and to be a protagonist in a case study. So that was that one. There was a separate case study that was written by at Stanford, the Graduate School of Business, because they were running a course that had to do with longevity and people living longer and looking at all the implications of that. And one of the tracks they were following was career paths. And so they ended up writing about Relaunch from that perspective of people 50 and over who were relaunching their careers and the work that we were doing around that. So that happened much later. It was around 2000. It was actually right when COVID hit. They asked me to come out and speak March of 2020. And I think I was the last guest speaker on the campus before they shut the whole thing down for COVID.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. So you're the last person people remember. That's oh, wow. I love it. This question is about Relaunch. What was the hardest part about convincing companies to create like a return to work program?
Well, there was a little bit of this activity, as I was saying, in 2005, 2006, Lehman Brothers, Citi, one more company that maybe it was MetLife that were looking to start programs, and it was UBS. That's what it was. And so that was the first little bit of activity. But the first program that caught on in a bigger way was when Goldman started their returnship program, because that was structured as a paid internship-like experience for mid-career professionals. And that name, they called it returnship. They coined that name. They trademarked it even. And that became a concept that more and more companies, first in financial services, started to emulate. And then we had a wave of technology-based companies that started the programs. But for a long time, the returnship model, and I'd say still today, is the dominant model for bringing people back to work after a career break. So we were very much in the mix, and we were connecting these companies with large groups of people who were on career break who wanted to return to work. And so the companies this idea was getting around on its own. We had a lot to do with moving that process along and getting more companies involved to do it. But we didn't invent the returnship itself. That really Goldman did, and also Sara Lee Corporation, that doesn't exist anymore, had a returnship at the same time in 2008. So what we did though is right when we started our relaunch, we wanted to bring together three constituencies: employers, who at that point were more curious than anything else about who is this population and how serious are they about working; employers who may want to hire returners, the returners themselves who are on career break, and then we wanted to have it at a university. And that became our model, and actually was our model when we had the conferences in person all the way until COVID. We always held the event at a university. And that was really because, for two reasons. Number one, we thought it was less, having been relaunchers, I'll say relauncher or returner interchangeably, but having been relaunchers ourselves, Vivian and I knew firsthand the confidence issues that you have when you're coming back to work after a career break. And we thought it would be less intimidating to come into a university campus and have a conference about this topic than to come into some fancy corporate building when you're coming right off of a career break. So that was reason one. And then reason number two was that we recognized that working with university alumni career services offices was key to being in contact with a large number of returners. And that format and that strategy has been our strategy right from the beginning. And we have a strong network, a national network of alumni career services advisors, and they're very happy to be able to share the information, the resources that we have, and the information about the conference with their alumni on career break, because there are not that many resources for this population.
Yeah,
So
because I work with them every day, and with me creating this program for St. John's, it's been a year so far. I spoke to like over like 200 alumni when they found out, because we found out a lot of alumni are coming back to their college campuses for networking, resources, and just building more relationships, which will help them lead them to more job opportunities. So when actually how I found out about our relaunch, it was an alumni who actually went through your program, and she talked about it because I usually do like once every month. I have like these Fraser like lives with alumni. Just they come on and they just share all their job strategies, hurts, pains, and all that stuff. I try to give them some advice. So one young lady told me about iRelaunch, and we was like, "Yeah, what's that?" So we all searching it up. I was like, this is amazing. So I went into straight like I'm dating myself, Quincy, Colombo mode to find out who was a part of the organization. That's how I met you and had an amazing call with your team. So yeah, it really changed her life.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that, and that's how you found out about it, and that you acted on it. We're
Yeah.
very happy to be connected with the St. John's University alumni
Mhm.
pool, and hope that we'll have St. John alumni coming to our conference and
Yep. Hmm.
getting.
And my next question is, what is like one mistake you notice that companies make when setting up like these the return to work programs in terms of have you seen any companies making mistakes, or they're just reaching out to you to help them figure it out?
Well, we work with companies to create these programs in the first place.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah, so we have conferences and we do outreach and we have a job board and all of that on the recruiting side. But the other part of iRelaunch is when we're working with employers to create their programs in the first place, and then to expand them or to reinvent them if they've been around for a while. So that's a core part of what we do. And the other piece of that is that we do training. So once the
Mm,
returners are inside the organization, whether they're coming in as a cohort, and then we can do virtual live training and coaching with them, or
mhm,
whether they're coming in one by one, where we have e-learning that they can use because it's not a group starting at the same time. So it's one person at a time.
mhm,
Uh, so we're deeply embedded in that process. I wouldn't say a mistake, but an evolution that's been really interesting to see, and also beneficial for the employer and for the individuals who are in the program, is those that are structured as returnships. Some of them now don't have a returnship anymore, and they just hire people from day one as an employee. But for those that are in the returnship model, when they first started, it was more like a come in, we're going to give you transitional support, we're going to give you a project to work on, and maybe you'll get hired and maybe you won't get hired, but you're going to have this next professional development step to sort of get you on your way to relaunching your career. And that's evolved over time to what we call now intent to hire returnships, where there's an actual open headcount role that is attached to each one of the returnships. And the idea is that there's an expectation that the person is going to convert and be hired when that returnship is over, as opposed to a possibility. And you can only imagine the difference in experience that the manager, the team, and the returner, him or herself, has if they're being brought onto the team as a potential long-term member, as opposed to someone who's just dropped in there like a contractor for a few weeks and then they're leaving. It's an entirely different experience. And we found that it's a best practice, and the best programs are the ones that have moved to this intent to hire philosophy behind their returnships.
wow. Um, as we look to the look to the future, how will everybody's talking about AI, Carol? So how has AI and these new technologies changed the career reentry for the future? Because everybody's always, you hear every conference is talking about the robots are coming, they're going to take away our jobs, and then well, all these middle school jobs are going to be going away. How have you been able to handle all that conversation and talk regarding AI and new technology?
Yeah, there's so many aspects to it. First of all, AI as a tool to there's a study out uh, that if AI is used when people are just starting their return to work, their ramp up period is compressed. It takes less time with AI tools for people to become, work ready than it might have before that. So that's one piece. Of course, we've heard about the impact of AI in terms of are we going to be eliminating the entry level employee or significantly reducing that person the number of people who are entry level, and that is an interesting question for the people who have work experience, who are in career breaks and who are relaunching their careers. Maybe does it actually put relaunchers in a better position because there's going to be more demand for people who have had prior experience and a lower supply of people who have prior experience if people aren't hired as entry level. So there's that piece. And then there's the whole job seeking piece of what the role of AI is. I'm sure you do a lot of thinking and talking about that, but I'll just add one piece because there's so much advice out there on how to use AI in the job search. There's something that we just discovered recently and I'm in the middle of doing a 100 video tip series. It's on Instagram and it's on LinkedIn on the Relaunch page and also on my own LinkedIn page. So we're doing 100 video tips. And one of them was a discovery that we made using Notebook LM, which is one of the AI tools. And we found that if you load your LinkedIn profile on text, you have to do it as a PDF, or your resume in there, and push audio overview, that will produce two people having a conversation like they're doing a podcast or a fireside chat about you and using the information in your resume. And I thought it was such a good tool because they are articulating what you do and what you're all about, and they could give you some talking points that maybe you didn't think about yourself. And you can use it for anything. I was using it for an article that I was writing. I just wanted to hear how they were interpreting what I wrote. And I found something that was wrong. I heard them I'm thinking, when they were talking about one piece of it, I thought that's not right. And it made me go back and change something. So
Right.
that will happen with your resume or your LinkedIn profile. You don't like the way they're talking about one aspect of your background, that could prompt you to sort of make some changes. So we thought that was interesting.
I
And
love
then,
Notebook LM. I think it's great. It's because I did it with a hiring event that was happening in New York. I used that to push that to the St. John's alumni to actually come to this event, and they're having this deep intellectual conversation about it, like it was like Charlie Rose talking to or it, MSNBC or CBS, Al Roker, or Morning Joe having a conversation about you on the topic. I love it. I was like, wow, this is
yeah,
cool.
it was great. But anyway, just like any job seeker, you can feed in the job description and then feed in your resume and have them read. AI will redo it. They will generate interview questions you're likely to be asked. All of that. That's similar for the returner and the non-returner job seeker.
I have two more questions for you, Carol. Tell me about some of your famous success stories from people who've used iRelaunch or in any part of the program or benefited from it.
Yeah. Well, because we run the Relaunch Return to Work conference, one of the purposes there is that employers sponsor it because they want to meet people who are returning to work, because they want to recruit them. They believe in the value of the population. It's a high caliber population with great work experience. And we now have data about retention levels who are coming back after career breaks are higher than average employee retention. So I'm just giving that as a little bit of context, because some of the favorite stories that we have are people who might have met a representative from a company at our conference and then gotten hired. And I guess that a subset of that is particularly striking are people who go into technology roles, they're engineers or IT people, and thrive and get promoted after very long career breaks, like 18 years or 20 years. And so we have a podcast, and we actually have a mini series on the longest career breaks. And I find those so compelling, especially because they bust the myth of people who say if you're away from technology fields, you can't catch up. So I would say the stories where people have long career breaks and then they're coming back into technical roles, and how they updated themselves and what they did once they were in the job and what their career progression has been like since, that those are the ones that jump out at me.
I love it. Last question for you is, how can alumni and universities really take advantage of all the things that you and your team have going on at iRelaunch? Because there might be some universities or colleges that have not used iRelaunch. Give them some tips on reason why they need to use you guys in terms of all the amazing services you provide.
Okay, so we have many free services and resources. And if you're a university career services director on the team, or you're a returner yourself, you could go to irelaunch.com and you'll right away see the resources for relaunchers. And there are 300 podcasts, there's hundreds of success stories, there are blog posts. Now we have the 100 video tips. I think we're on number 78. So we're going to be should be finishing that in the next few weeks. And we also have, we're very hands-on and tactical. So we have a series called Scripts and Dialogues, what to write and what to say. And we actually give people a script, like, how do you answer the question, wow, this looks like you took a really long career break, tell me about this. And we write it out to say, yes, I took a career break to care for my kids, and now I can't wait to get back to work. In fact, the reason I'm so interested in job X is because when I worked for company Y, we faced very similar customer challenges. Let me tell you about one of them. So like that is a kind of a script that we would have. And we also have scripts for how to invite someone who you have not been in touch with for like 10 years. You're getting back in touch with someone who you worked with in the past, what to write to them on LinkedIn. So we get very tactical. So all of that is free. And we also have for people who are on Facebook, we have a private Facebook group called the iRelaunch Return to Work Forum. And we have probably about 14,000 of our returners are in that group, and it's peer-led.
Wow. Wow.
But yeah, so the thing that's cool about it is that people who are in the group who then successfully relaunch their careers often stay in the group. And so there's a lot of sharing of resources and information and advice. And so that's a powerful group. So I would say all of those are free. We also have something called Roadmap, which there is a price tag on Roadmap, but that is our intensive, it's an e-learning course, which is for job seekers who are relaunching. It's customized for the person who's coming off of career break. It's 30 steps, 5 stages, and we dive in deep, and we always update it. Like we just put in AI resources in the middle of it. So that is something. And then, of course, we have our iRelaunch Return to Work conferences, which are now virtual. We didn't change it once we went virtual after COVID, because now we're a national conference. Before we were in a metro area. So anyone in the country, and we even have people outside the country, can participate. And any employer that is recruiting anywhere in the country can participate. And it's 2 days of intensive content. hearing from employers. I do a keynote talking about strategies. We hear success stories from people who have returned after career breaks of different lengths for different reasons and are in different fields. And then day 3 is dedicated to a virtual career fair, where you have the opportunity to interact with companies that are there specifically to hire people who are coming off of career break, because they recognize the value of the pool. So that's an overview. We also have a job board. It doesn't cost anything for people to register on the job board and upload their resume. And that's where our employers also go to seek out people who might be good matches with their open roles that they've allocated, or to their career reentry programs. Or now we're seeing some companies say all of our roles are open, and sometimes returners get hired, and we have special resources to help them on board once they're inside the organization.
I love it. Listen, it's a one-stop shop for everything that you need. And Carol, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me about iRelaunch. I found out about it. I started sharing it about the conference on my social medias. I let all my alumni know. This is a great platform. I wish I had this information when I was job hunting back in the day, but I'm so glad that I ran into you guys, and what you guys are doing is so amazing. And how can someone reach out to your organization? Please share your websites, all your social media platforms, all of it. That's great. That would be so helpful.
All right. Well, Roger, first of all, thank you so much. It's been wonderful to have the opportunity to have this conversation with you, and also the idea that you're spreading the word to your entire alumni base. But for individuals, go to irelaunch.com. You can go to @irelaunch on Instagram. iRelaunch has a page on LinkedIn. We have a page on Facebook in addition to our private group. So it'll be obvious for you to search and find it on the various social media. And if you're a university alumni career services director or on a team, then you can reach out to us at info@irelaunch.com, and our team will get that inquiry and we'll be able to talk to you. We can give you cut and paste information to publicize our conference. We can give you a list of resources to put on your website. We can work closely with you to serve your alumni who are on career break.
Carol, thank you so much. This was so good. My name is Roger Maloney, and ladies and gentlemen, iRelaunch is an amazing, amazing platform. Everybody should take advantage of it. Carol, you said the conference is coming up between August 7th through the 9th. You got 3 days. It's virtual.
October.
Yeah. October 7th through the 9th. It's virtual, yep. So you could check it out on desktop, laptop, on your phone. I'm definitely going to be definitely checking it out. And Carol, thank you so much, because this was amazing. Congratulations with everything.
Thank you so much, Roger, and thanks for all your support. And we're excited to stay in touch with you.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.